नाज़रीन किराम, आप सबको जान आलम खां की यूट्यूब चैनल पर खुश आमदीद। आज मैं आपके लिए एक ऐसे मेहमान को लाया हूँ जिनके ख्यालात सुनकर आप ज़िंदगी में बहुत कुछ सीखेंगे। ज़िंदगी आप जानते हैं कि एक कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज़ है, बहुत पेचीदा चीज़ है। ये आराम से बहुत ईज़िली मैनेज करने वाली चीज़ नहीं है। अगर कोई ये कहता है ज़िंदगी आसान है, मैं इज़िली मैनेज करता हूँ या करती हूँ, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि शायद वो ज़िंदगी के कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज़ को समझते नहीं हैं, ज़िंदगी के सुपरफिशियल पहलू पे चल रहे हैं। ज़िंदगी हर एक के लिए एक डिफ़िकल्ट रोड है, इट्स नॉट दैट ईज़ी रोड। तो इस लिहाज से ज़िंदगी में हम अपनी ज़िंदगी से भी बहुत कुछ सबक सीखते हैं, दूसरों की ज़िंदगियों, दूसरों के थॉट्स को सुनकर भी हम बहुत कुछ ज़िंदगी में सीखते हैं। लोग ज़िंदगी के चैलेंजेस को कैसे फेस करते हैं, कैसे मैनेज करते हैं, ये हम अक्सर-व-अक्सर किताबों में पढ़ते हैं। हम लोग ज़िंदा इंसानों की ज़िंदगियों पर जनरली स्पीकिंग कम तवज्जो देते हैं कि उनकी ज़िंदगी में क्या लेसन्स है। हर शख्स अगर देखा जाए तो ट्रूली एक एनसाइक्लोपीडिया है। उनके ज़िंदगी के एक्सपीरियंसेस, चैलेंजेस, कैसे उन्होंने चैलेंजेस को मैनेज किया, ये सब चीज़ें कोई आसान चीज़ें नहीं हैं। तो इसलिए मैंने इस जो टीवी है, ज़िंदगी के बारे में है, तो ये मैंने तहिया किया है कि मैं जनरल लोग, आम लोग जो ज़िंदगी को फेस करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं, उनसे मिसालें शेयर करूँ इस टीवी पर ग्लोबली। और जो आप ग्लोबल ऑडियंसेस को देख रहे हैं, आप भी इसी तरह मुख्तलिफ लोगों की ज़िंदगियों से कुछ सीख सकते हैं, कुछ करना चाहिए, कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए। इन लोगों की ज़िंदगियों में हमारे लिए बहुत कुछ होता है। तो आज मैं आपके लिए जनाब जावेद मर्चेंट साहब को आज के इस टीवी के वीडियो प्रोग्राम में दावत दिया हूँ। जावेद साहब एक कामयाब आईटी प्रोफेशनल हैं, एक 3 बच्चों के बाप हैं, एक ऑफ कोर्स शौहर भी हैं, और ये एक सोशल वर्कर भी हैं, ये इल्म का शौक भी रखते हैं। तो इस लिहाज से कई पहलुओं के मालिक हैं। तो मैं चाहता हूँ आज इनसे कुछ हम गुफ्तगू करें, देखें कि इनकी ज़िंदगी के इस मार्केट में क्या-क्या है और क्या-क्या हम इनसे सीख सकते हैं। जावेद साहब, आपको मैं वेलकम करता हूँ
Thank you.
आज इस टीवी में। और आप जानते हैं कि ये जन्म खा की टीवी ग्लोबली देखा जाता है, तो हम चाहते हैं कि आपकी ज़िंदगी को हम एक्सप्लोर करें, आज आपकी ज़िंदगी से कुछ मिसालें लें। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप ये बताएं कि आप अपने आप को आज तक जो आपकी ज़िंदगी गुजरी उसमें चंद अल्फाज में अपने आप को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा आपसे, तो आप कैसे डिस्क्राइब करेंगे? जावेद मर्चेंट कौन है?
So before I start that, I want to thank you for inviting me and having
My
me here.
pleasure.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
So आपने पूछा कि जावेद मर्चेंट कौन है? The way I look at myself, I am, like as you mentioned, I'm a husband. I am, a son. My parents, and then I'm also a father, and I'm an entrepreneur. I am
Okay.
an IT consult. I own IT consulting company and various different businesses. So I see myself as consultant, business person, entrepreneur, as well as a social worker, because these are all
Right.
aspects of life.
क्या बात है भाई, आप जिंदगी को कैसे देखते हैं? ये डिफरेंट डायमेंशन से जिंदगी को देख रहे हैं आप। आपके ख्याल में जिंदगी क्या है?
So in my opinion, the way I see it, life is a journey, right? Life is a journey.
A good
Now
metaphor.
you can make it happy journey, or you can make it difficult for yourself. Again,
Okay.
the way you perceive the world, the way you take this journey, there's always ups and downs. There's trials and tribulations in this world. And I think what you get out of it is if you learn from your mistakes and you improve on it, and you will become happy. But if you dwell on the past and you always always dwell on the negative part, it's going to become difficult for you. So to me, it's a journey, and it's also a partnership, right? Of how you live this life.
Right. Has there been any particular challenge on this journey that you call a journey that that was taxing, but still you managed that challenge?
So I was born in Pakistan and I came to United States. So first of my challenge was learning English, right?
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously very fundamental in this, right? So that was
Certainly.
something. But again, challenges come, and then as we were growing in after that,
Mhm.
financial challenge of life, right? And we were married, and then after that, having to raise a family, just like every normal person would face those challenges. But
Right.
other than that, shukr alhamdulillah, I don't think we had any big challenges that we did not go. I mean, obviously, there is always challenges in the family and
Right.
everything.
Well, Javed, managing a family life, don't you think is a major challenge?
It is taxing at some points, uh, but I don't look at it as negatively, right? So I look at it
Right.
as positively, because to me it gives me great happiness to be around all the loved ones, right? My
Mhm.
families, distance and close relatives, and yeah, I really I enjoy being with them, right? And because I find goodness in everyone, I try to look for that, and I try to make sure that I myself is happy. And if I'm happy, then I'm gonna make sure that I spread that happiness as well.
Wow. Certainly, you feel joy when you are with your wife, obviously, and with kids. Do you think your kids enjoy your company?
Uh, I won't say always, but uh,
True.
because there is, again, as a
Realistic.
parent, there is realistic approach, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
at majority of times, I've asked them, right? We've gone to vacations, and I would ask them and kind of understand what their take on that is, and they said they enjoyed it, they love this, right? So depending on the circumstance and depending on the situations, and for most of the part when we're talking, we're having dinner conversations stuff, and they would express their feelings and express their love about how things are working out, and they
Mhm.
enjoyed just even little things that we do at home.
Mhm. What has been your guiding principle in upbringing your children?
Uh, there's always there's always a lot of things from a parent's perspective. First of all, you want to make sure that you're there for them, as being protective, being supportive of
Mhm.
them, making sure that they grow up happy and healthy. So, and then, but above and beyond that, I'm thinking more of, you know, what can I do to develop them mentally, right? What can I do to bring the best out of them, right? And then there are some challenges, and again, being honest, being available to them, and being able
Mhm.
to take, listen to them. Listening is a very critical skill, and a lot of times
Extremely
it's not.
important. Yeah, I.
So so being able to, if the child feels they're heard, they're open, they're willing to
Mhm.
share with you. And to me, that open communication, that trust, the honesty, it's all part of that, right? it's
Yes.
it's all part of growing up.
Yes, you picked up on a very important theme, that is listening to the child, to the children. One of the greatest complaints of children against their parents is often that the parents do not always listen to them completely. They don't honor their words. They don't trust them. They don't believe in them. And therefore, no sooner when they start their story, the parents jump
To
on
conclusions,
and interrupt them and make their own interpretations. What would you say to that?
I again, to me, it's, listening is a skill, right? So you need to develop it, and obviously,
Yes.
I've grown and I've learned to start to listen a little better. And I wasn't perfect, and I'm always make mistakes, and I even grow with that. But I would take even listening to a step further than what you do, not just verbally listening, but also listening to their body language, what they're not
Excellent.
saying. But because
Excellent.
if they're not open to you, they're not honest, and they're not able to express their feeling and emotions to you, who would they go to? And that's what I need to make sure, that I'm also available and listening. Getting upset or jumping to conclusions and before they even mention anything, I don't think it's healthy for the family.
Yes, indeed. You earlier said you have attempted to focus on their intellectual development. Would you agree to this point that very often parents focus quite a bit on intellectual development, but very often children's affective domain, their emotional dimension gets very disturbed very often, and that's not attended to always.
Uh,
For example, when they cry, we try to make them understand an intellectual argument. When they cry, that's the last thing one should be doing, as far as I understand, as a father and as a student of education. When they are crying, the best thing is to asking them to explain why they are crying without sermons. We ask them, why are you crying? What is the problem? What made you cry? Or just let them cry for a while without instructions. The problem, the disturbing thing I see watching parents is that they quickly start sermonizing. You should stop crying. Why are you crying? You are a big boy, you are a big girl. So why are you crying? To me, that is an offense that parents do. Rather, this is the time just to listen. Let them cry. Okay, cry बेटा, थोड़ी देर के लिए cry करो. सही बात है, आपको गुस्सा आया ना, आप नाराज हो गए हैं, कुछ भी है, थोड़ी देर cry करो, थोड़ी देर cry करने दें, वो relieve हो जाएंगे अपने emotional tension से. Then you can say, oh, क्या हुआ था बेटा, क्यों रो रही?
yeah.
Rather than advising.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, you bring a good point. The reason I was smiling and giggling is when I remember when we were children, when we would cry, my father would always say, "No, let him cry, but let's get lungs saaf hoga,"
That's it.
So, no, but
wiser.
yeah. So again, like you mentioned, to me, yeah, they're crying, and let them cry, let them understand.
Why?
First and foremost, when I look at it, if they're crying, I'm trying to understand is that first of all, they're not in a physical endangerment anyway, right?
Yes.
Like if anything hurt, are they
True.
bleeding? Are they in pain of any sort,
Correct.
right? And if I know it's an emotional cry, or if it's something
Yes.
else, or if it's because they're being stubborn and they want something and they're crying just to get a point across, then I'll let them cry because I know they're not in danger in any way, right? So let them cry, and once they're done, I say, you're an adult, I'm an adult, you can talk to me as adult. I don't like whining, I don't like crying. So once you're done crying, you can go to bathroom, you can go to your room, cry, have fun, and then once you come back, we can talk.
I want to pick up on this whining business. I know lots of particularly educated parents have a big problem with this whining.
Yeah.
Do you think whining is part of childhood? They enjoy, this is how they express their natural emotions, by doing whining. Why parents very often have the big problem with this whining?
I can't speak for other parents, but to me, I know I really get um, it really bothers me when someone is whining. To me,
why?
It just feels like they're not able to express what they want to do, right? And that just really, because I am again very analytical and I want to be able to understand, right? And I'm listening and I'm trying to attentively listen, but sometimes I have to make myself listen, right? I have to make sure to get past that whining, because again, that's one of my shortcomings, I would say.
Yeah, but that's the critical point. Yeah. That I consider myself to be a spokesperson for children.
Yeah.
So I argue very often with the parents, grandparents, and what have you, caregivers. Now, a child is whining. I thought he or she is already saying something. Is the parents' problem not being able to understand what they are saying? Why does a child whines? What we need to understand is this: an expression of emotional disturbance, that he or she either cannot express what they want or are scared of expressing their internal wishes, and therefore they express their anger through whining. This is a wonderful way of them expressing their emotions through a little bit of whining. Parents become so allergic, so go say, helter shelter. I don't like your whining. I have a big problem with parents who they say, I don't like, for example. But should this matter really what you don't like or like as parents? Or is your concern with the children's care, children's problems? Why would parents all the time say, I don't like?
Well, I think there's two aspects to it, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is a parent's aspect because, if I cannot deal with something, I need to be able to make myself be able to deal with and be able to learn from that, right?
Yes.
So to me, again, that's sparking a short nerve again, right? So whining to me is just, okay, fine. If you need to articulate what you want, right? And be able to tell me, I don't have a problem. We will listen and we will understand.
No, but that's not
But
the time to articulate, I would have thought, because he's upset or she's upset. He doesn't want to talk.
yeah,
That's their language, children's language.
yeah,
At that time, they just want to whine. You might have seen a wife or a husband grumbling for a while for something. Not that they cannot express themselves,
yeah,
but if they were to express themselves, there's going to be a big battle.
yeah,
So they want to avoid that big battle, and they just grumble for a while, talk to themselves, murmur, so
yeah,
that the fight is minimized.
yeah.
This might be a children's strategy, whining, to express themselves without creating a big war or big battle between the children and the parents.
Well, perhaps it is, and we as parents need to acknowledge that and then
Understand that.
understand
So
that, right?
that's through you,
Yeah,
Javed. Today, I want to emphasize on this that parents, very often bringing themselves into the children's problems.
exactly.
I.
Yeah,
Okay. What I don't like, what I do, I'm ashamed of you. You know, I have heard all around and throughout my life, parents saying, "Oh, I am ashamed of you. Okay, you did this, you did that. आप फर्स्ट नहीं आए तो ashamed मैं हो गया. आप कामयाब हो गए तो बाप का नाम रोशन कर दिया." Now you see what is going on here. Javed, my understanding is that as a student of child psychology, I believe that parents very often use children either aggrandizing their own status, their own worries, their own problems, their own prides. If children do something wrong among other children in the school or somewhere, parent हमेशा से ओए मेरी बेइज्जती करवाई ना, अगर आप थोड़ा सा गौर करें, हम थोड़ा सा गौर करें, तो यहाँ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि बच्चों को हम अपनी इज्जत का, अपने गमों का, अपनी तकलीफों के ऊपर कुर्बान कर देते हैं और एज अ रिजल्ट बच्चे ही दुखी हो जाते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे बच्चे के साथ स्कूल में एक दफा टीचर की शिकायत आई कि आपका बच्चा बहुत बोलता है. तो मैंने कहा मैं समझा कि स्कूल में वो बोलने के लिए ही भेजता हूँ. बच्चे स्कूल में कुछ खामोश बैठते हैं तो ये कोई अच्छी तरबियत तो नहीं है. बच्चों को बोलना चाहिए स्कूल में. हाँ, आपके पढ़ाने के दौरान वक्त बे वक्त बोलता है, देन वी हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. आप जो मुझे बता रहे हैं बच्चा बोलता है, स्कूल में बहुत बोलता है, तो उसको बोलना चाहिए. मैं इसलिए सीखने के लिए, बोलने के लिए, सीखने के लिए तो भेज रहा हूँ. तो आई वुड ऑलवेज से, एक दफा किसी स्कूल में बच्चे ने हाथों में पेंसिल रख के हाथों को दबाया था. तो मेरे बेटे ने आके घर में बताया कि पापा मेरे साथ ये क्या टीचर ने. इमीडिएट आई रीच्ड द स्कूल. अरे व्हाई डिड यू डू दिस? कैन यू डू दिस? इज इट लीगल? इज इट एथिकल? आप टीचर हैं क्या? थाना है या स्कूल है? तो आई साइडेड माय सन रादर देन सेइंग ओ यू, मेरा नाम है तो आपने मुझे अशेम कर दिया स्कूल के अंदर, आप मस्ती करते होंगे इसलिए उसने ऐसा किया होगा. ये पेरेंट्स जो ना हमेशा बच्चियों को ब्लेम करने के स्पिरिट में क्यों होते हैं कि टीचर्स आर ऑलवेज राइट. टीचर्स आर नेवर ऑलवेज राइट. तो टीचर्स को भी समझाने की जरूरत है कि बच्चे की गलती क्या है, किस पे मारा आपने. इन्वेस्टिगेट तो करना चाहिए ना. लेकिन बहुत सारे कल्चर में है कि जब बच्चे को स्कूल में ले जाते हैं तो कहते हैं गोश्त तुम्हारा हड्डियां हमारी. उसके नतीजे में इतनी सजाएं देते हैं बच्चियों को बिला वजह भी. अभी रिसेंटली एक बच्चे का आंख जख्मी हो गया टीचर ने मार के. तो जब पेरेंट्स इतने हद तक बच्चों को डिसोन करते हैं, जो करना है करो स्कूल में इसके साथ में ना, तो ये इस वजह से मेरे नाक़िस राय में ये है कि पेरेंट्स टू मच अपनी इज्जत का, अपने इमोशंस का, अपने एंगर का ज्यादा मसला کریٹ کر دیتے ہیں جس کی وجہ سے بچے اور زیادہ پرابلم میں چلے جاتے ہیں. اگر تھوڑا سا سیلف کو باہر رکھیں کہ بھائی تم کیوں بھائی اس وقت وائننگ چھوڑ دے, یہ ہم نے سنا ہے کہ وائننگ کرتے ہیں, میں بہت کچھ سنتا ہوں یہ وائننگ کے بارے میں. صرف بولا جائے انسان نا, آپ اپنے آپ کو خود کا بچہ سوچیں, بچپن سوچیں, آپ کیوں وائن کرتے ہوں گے؟ کوئی چیز نہیں سنتا ہے, ماں باپ نہیں سنتے ہیں, کوئی سبلنگ ہمیں بہت زیادہ تنگ کرتے ہیں, تو ہمیں پھر رونا پڑتا ہے, ہمیں کچھ تھوڑے آئیں بھائیں شائیں کرنی پڑتی ہے تاکہ کوئی ہمیں توجہ دے. اب اس کو آپ نگیٹیولی لیں گے تو بچے کے پاس کیا چوائس رہے گا, کرے کیا بچہ یار بچے. تو یہ ایک انٹرسٹنگ بات ہے. تھینک یو ویری مچ, آپ نے اس کو ریز کیا. تو یہ انٹرسٹنگ کوشچن ہے.
No, definitely, and I circle back to your example about teacher punishing and people saying expressing parents expressing their feeling over the kids, and I am very conscious of that, and I see this in our society, and I am very much against it. To me, I want to be able to understand. Now, the only person I always tell my kids that you should look up to is your own self and try to do better than yourself. So you are always, you're always, I don't want to compare you to anyone else. I never compare. I tell them, okay, I don't want to compare you. I'll give you example of, what we've done and what they've done, but that's nothing. If I will compare you, I will compare it to you. Are you doing your best?
Absolutely.
If you did, if you get an 80 on a test exam, that's fine. Did you try your best? That's all you tell me.
Exactly.
And if you tried your best, and I'm good, I'm happy with that. I don't care if فلانے کا بچہ نے 100 لایا ہے اور اس نے یہ کرا. I'm okay with that.
دیکھیں یہ ایک بڑا مسئلہ ہے کمپیئرنگ چلڈرن. آپ نے بہت اچھا پوائنٹ ریز کیا. کمپیئرنگ ایک مزیدار واقعہ ہے. کسی باپ نے اپنے بیٹے کو تانا دیتے ہوئے کہا, ارے نالائق, جب نپولین تمہارے عمر کا تھا تو اتنا سارا میتھمیٹکس کر سکتا تھا, تو تمہاری حالت دیکھو. تو اس نے زیر لب بڑبڑاتے ہوئے کہا, ہاں ڈیڈی, جب نپولین آپ کی عمر کو تھا وہ فرانس کا بادشاہ بن چکا تھا.
No, it's absolutely right.
تو بچوں کو دوسروں سے کمپیئر کرنا, تو جہاں 10 بچے ان سے اچھے ہوں گے وہاں 20 بچے کم پرفارم بھی تو کر رہے ہوں گے نا. آپ کس کے ساتھ کمپیئر کرتے ہیں؟ تو یہ انتہائی افسوسناک بات ہے کہ جو پیرنٹس اپنے بچوں کو ہیوملیٹ کرتے ہیں, دوسروں کے بچوں سے کمپیئر کرتے ہیں. اس کے بچے میں یہ خوبی ہے تو تمہارے کیا ہے, تم ایسا کرتے ہو. اس کے بچے میں فلانا خوبی ہے. میرے خیال میں اچھے والدین would always see their children as unique children, their own children. ان کا بچہ جیسا دنیا کا کوئی ہے ہی نہیں بچہ. پیرنٹس پراؤڈ فیل کرتے ہیں اپنے بچوں پر. وہ کسی کے ساتھ کمپیئر کرنا انسلٹنگ. آپ سوچو اگر آپ کا شیلا آپ کو کسی اور ہسبینڈ سے کمپیئر کرے, وہ ہسبینڈ تو اپنے وائف کو کیا کیا نہیں دلاتا ہے, یہ دلاتا ہے وہ دلاتا ہے, آپ کیا کرتے ہو, کیسا محسوس ہوگا آپ کو؟ تو آپ آن دی ادر ہینڈ یہ پروبیبلی یہ کہیں کہ دیکھو فلانا کے جو نا پیرنٹس ان کو اپنے بیٹے کو یہ دیا ہے, مال دیا ہے, گاڑیاں دی ہے, تمہارے ماں باپ نے مجھے کیا دیا ہے. تو یہ کیا ایک کوئی اچھی ریلیشن شپ بلڈ ہو سکتی ہے؟ نہیں ہو سکتی نا. اس طرح تانا دینے سے بچوں کو, اتنے چھوٹے بچے 8-10 سال کے بچے ہوں ان کو آپ تانے دینے لگے, آپ اندازہ کر سکتے ہیں کتنا ڈیمیج کر رہے ہوتے ہیں ان کے ذہن کو ہم. لیکن پیرنٹس وہ اچھا خاصے بھلے پڑھے لکھے, جس کو یہ مجھے ہمیشہ پرابلم, پڑھے لکھے کہتے ہیں نا, ارے ایک آدمی نے میتھمیٹکس میں فار ایگزامپل ماسٹرز کیا, اس کو ہم پڑھا لکھا کہتے ہیں, اس کو کک بھی نہیں آتا ایجوکیشن کیا چیز ہے, ٹھیک ہے نا. تو وہ لٹریسی جو ہے اس میدان کے اندر ہے. چائلڈ سائیکالوجی ہر شخص کو تھوڑی بہت آنی چاہیے.
I call them پڑھے لکھے جاہل.
ایگزیکٹلی ان کو کیا آتا مجھے بتائیں. بچے کیوں روتے ہیں, کیوں وائن کرتے ہیں, یا بچے پرفارم نہیں کرتے, بچے کیا اچھا کرتے ہیں, بچے کیا. تو یہ جو نا لٹریسی پیرنٹس میں نہ ہونے کی وجہ سے جاوید بہت سارے مسئلے ہوتے ہیں. ان کے اپنے فیلڈ کی بات کر رہا ہوں. بچوں کو ایز سائنٹسٹ دیکھنے کی ضرورت ہے میری ناقص رائے میں, کہ بچے جو ہے نا کوئی حرکت کرتے ہیں کیوں کرتے ہیں, اس کے پیچھے کیا موٹیویشن ہے, کیوں ایسا کرتے ہیں. جب بچوں کو ایک ریسرچر کے اینگل سے دیکھتے ہیں نا, یو گیٹ فل آف ایڈمیریشن فار دی چلڈرن. تو مجھے پتہ ہے آپ کے فیملی میں آپ نے بچوں کو کیا کیا نہیں سکھایا, مجھے کچھ اندازہ ہے. آرٹ سے لے کے فن سے لے کے ایکیڈمکس سے لے کے ایکٹیویٹیز میں پارٹیسپیٹ کرنے کا. اس لیے میں نے آپ کو دعوت دی ہے کہ چونکہ ایک اچھی فیملی اولاد کو سیلیبریٹ کرتی ہے,
Exactly.
औलाद को एडमायर करते हैं, औलाद की बुराई नहीं करते हैं, औलाद को बुरा भला नहीं बोलते हैं ऑन अ डेली बेसिस। तो इस लिहाज से बच्चे जो हैं फिर वालिदैन के इस एनकरेजमेंट में फलते हैं, फूलते हैं, तो ये दिलचस्प, इस पे जितना भी बोलेंगे कम है। लेकिन लास्ट में ये मैं पूछना चाहूँगा कि आपकी ज़िंदगी में जिस चीज़ ने सबसे ज़्यादा आपको खुशी दी है औलाद के हवाले से, फैमिली के हवाले, सोशल वर्क के हवाले से, वो कोई याद कर सकते हैं आप?
I mean, overall, there's so many little things, right? So
अच्छा।
that has made me happy,
हुँ, हुँ।
and by far the most that makes me happy is that I think I'm able to balance my life between the
हुँ,
social and professional and family life, and my family gives me the best happiness, right? I
राइट,
enjoy my family. I love being part of family. I
राइट।
love gatherings that we have. I love, my kids and being able to have dinner talks every night, right? I
एक्सीलेंट,
love us cooking on Sundays and doing stuff or going to activities and doing, and I want to be part of it because again, life is short, right?
क्या
If you
बात
think, oh, life
है!
is short,
थोड़ा-सी
I
ज़िंदगी
wanna
है
I
यार।
wanna enjoy as much as possible. And
राइट,
to me, my enjoyment is my family. My enjoyment is watching my kids grow up to become successful, contributing members of the society. And this is the best what I want. I want them to be happy. I want them to be successful, however they see fit. But I want to be part of that, right? And
excellent. I know you have great sense of humor, Javed. What I love about you is sense of humor. You know, this colors, fills with bright colors in life, sense of humor. You can relate to all sorts of people. I see this as a great strength. Lastly, if I have not covered any particular area that I should have covered, I'm wondering if you would like to sum up the discussion and share a message globally to our audience. Any particular message, if you would like to share, in order to be happy, successful, leading a meaningful life. What do you see as a crucial value or a factor or a habit or an attitude?
um, so in order for you to live a successful life, the way I see it, I am always, I always think from a servant leadership perspective, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the way I see it, I'm serving my family, I'm serving my community, I'm serving my professional life, and I'm serving and I'm also being a leader at the same time, right? As a
Right.
father, as a husband, I'm there as a leader, but at the same time, I'm there to support my kids, right? I don't want to take limelight away from them. I want to create foundation. I want to be able to create a ladder for them to be able to become successful humans, right? And for my family to succeed. So I am there to support them, but at the same time to lead them as well, right? So I always go back to the point of service because that's my motto in life is like because life has taught me a lot. I've
Wow.
learned from my trials and tribulations and
Excellent.
I've grown with that, but I've always learned to give back to the world, right? And I want to at the end of the day I want to be able to give more to the world than I found this, right? Leave this world a
Excellent.
better place. So and
Excellent.
then the one way I know I can do is provide for my family and make these kids grow up to be successful human beings, live a good life, and inshallah, with humility, if God willing, things will progress and they will become good individuals as we
Excellent.
go. No?
Excellent, Javed. Excellent. Love the term servant leadership. As you know, this is one of the most impressive concepts in leadership literature, servant leadership. A leader is not always a boss.
Exactly.
Any leader who leads with the arrogance of being a boss can never be remembered, can never be successful in life. A person who leads but never considers himself as a leader as such, but as a servant, as a person who is there to serve the people whom he is or she is leading. This concept is very, very crucial, whether we lead a family, a community, or generally in the job. We have a positional leadership. Um, it is always said that leadership is not a position, but a role. You play the role of a leader. So that humility that you mentioned is the punchline, the way I see, is very, very important in a family. If we are leading, that does not mean we are a dictator in a family. We are a boss in a family. If someone leads a family with the idea of a boss, he destroys the family or she destroys the family. So we develop these roles. Someone, in one activity adopts the leadership, and in other activity someone else adopts the leadership. In many things, I'm sure you must have asked your children to lead the role, right?
Exactly.
Lead that activity. So that concept is very, very important. And with that concept, I would like to conclude this discussion, Javed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Javed Merchant Sahib, you spared so much time with us to share your thoughts with our global audience. And I'm sure the listeners, those who are watching this video, must have listened to this discussion passionately and learned quite a few important messages. And I hope you reflect on those messages. I can assure you, reflection on these messages and adopting them in your lives will become meaningful in your life. Just listening is not enough, but pick up a message and then act upon it in your life. That leads to fruitful conclusions. Thank you very much. बाप का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. मुझे उम्मीद है आपने जन्म भारती टीवी को सब्सक्राइब किया होगा और बेल आइकॉन दबाया होगा ताकि आपको इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियोस जो अपलोड किए जाएंगे वो आपको मिलते रहें. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. थैंक यू वेरी मच जावेद. टाइम निकाला आपने. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इतने ब्रिलियंट थॉट्स आपने हमारे ऑडियंस के साथ शेयर किया. थैंक यू वेरी मच.